our program, besides a promise to leave you positively impacted with hope, resilience, and purpose, we should ask the question, where does one find the strength to dare the storms of life, even when it seems that all hope is lost?
This is sounding really philosophical. Well, this package is like none other as we bring you face to face with a mother who, having gone through a harrowing, personal, and extremely difficult experience, was able to find the purpose and perhaps reason for such trial and pain. So welcome to the show. This is a show that's totally dedicated towards the uplifting of every member of the family. My name is John Senaya, and as always, it's a huge privilege to be doing this with you today.
Exactly, and besides the true life experience of Abigail as shared by her mother, Olufunke Adeoye, we shall unpack understanding autism, the signs, the symptoms, and treatment with Dr. Nesochi Okeke Igbokwe. And so today it's a health awareness and enlightenment package. It's advocacy and turning pain to gain and triumph. And then we invite you to please stay with us and soak it all in as we make all the effort here to try and make our life, all of us, a better for each and every one of us. Yes. All right, and I'm Helen Omadele. Thank you always for being a part of the show. Welcome.
Yes, and having set the agenda for the conversation, let's jet out for a quick break. And when we return, we shall dig deeper. Please stay with us.
Okay, and so we'd like to say that this is a very special weekend, and we'll bring you a very special package that is equally, very promises to be very engaging and memorable. You are watching Today with John and Helen live, and it's Cathy Plus TV Africa. We believe you are doing great and focusing only on the things that matter, especially those things that are positive. And so in a moment, we shall be meeting Olufunke Adeoye, who is the Chief Operating Officer, Oak Consult, but before then, Johnny, your disposition today, how now?
My disposition today.
You're looking...
Yes,
it's
been a mixed bag of all sorts of things.
Quite
frankly, the truth is that we've been suffering a lot of power outage at home.
You're part of it.
So you never get to sleep properly until late at night when the power is restored. But it's okay.
But we have been told
like we always
not to rely on power anymore. We have been told to get all of the alternative power source.
At what cost now? What cost?
You want to sleep, so you have to now.
You know what, Helen? You know what? It's not for lack of fuel in the generator. Mm-hmm. It's simply because of the cost of burning fuel every night.
Yes.
So there are times when you're like, look, I can't afford another X amount of fuel to be burnt in 6-7 hours. Let me see how far I can bear it.
Yeah.
And it's really tight. You can imagine if some of us are complaining about this, what other people are going through. And then the rates have gone up.
The rates of what? The lights. Of course, that's not me, right?
I was screaming at the other.
The rates went up a long time, and we were hoping, that something will, the Nigerians will make noise and they listen to us and bring it back. But it looks like it's stabilized wherever it is.
So that's the reason for it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And how about you? I hope all of the issues of life, you're finding some balance somewhere, because there's need for us to do that at this point, John.
Yes. Well, life often happens, and when it does, sometimes the darkness gets so overwhelming that it becomes impossible to see any light at all at the end of the tunnel, like they say. So when we return from the break, we shall be confronted with the sad story and real life tragedy and what follows. So you stay with us. This is Today with John and Helen, live.
Okay, so we are being joined right now by a certified personal development coach and beyond suffering instructor who combines professional expertise with life experience to empower families through advocacy, training, and awareness. She's the Chief Responsibility Officer, Oak Consult Disabilities Outreach. With over 20 years of experience in human resources and disability advocacies, her journey took a deeply personal turn in 2010 when she became a parent carer to her youngest daughter, Oluwa Toyiton, Chikitara Abigail Adeloye, who lived 16 difficult years with complex disabilities. Today, through her experience and trial, our guest is dedicated with purpose and determination to support parent carers and individuals with disabilities. Currently, she offers hope, strength, and inclusion to every life that she touches, and all of this in memory of her adorable daughter, Abigail, who unfortunately passed away at the age of 16. I have no idea where she finds the smile and the strength to be all of the positive that she is right now, in spite of all that she and her family went through. Let's meet Olufunke Adeloye, who is the Chief Operating Officer, Oak Consult Disabilities Outreach. And at the moment, she's talking to us from Ogbomoso.
Yes, and we are glad that in spite of the work you're doing in Nigeria and all of what you have to do, you're able to still find time to share your story with us for our inspiration. Thank you and welcome to the show, Olufunke. I hope you can hear us loud and clear. Ogbomoso is not...
it's kind of better now, so thank you.
It's on the radar.
Stone's throw.
Yes.
Away.
Good to see you and good to have you on the program.
Yes.
All right, John, you want to take
Thank you so much for having
Yes,
me.
we'll take a quick one, Olufunke. Now, as Chief Responsibility Officer and an advocate, what personal or professional experiences shaped your perspective on faith in times of pain?
Okay, so I thank you. Good morning. It's so nice to be with you. I hope technology will do us good this morning.
We pray
so now I think it's good to say that to lay some groundwork with this conversation. First of all, when you mentioned the word faith, I tried to Google faith this morning, faith, and over 2 million things came back as a result.
Wow.
So, within less than 30 minutes. So I think I want to define that a little bit, just to lay a good foundation to say that the faith element I will be talking from is what I have as an experience personally, and that is from my journey as a child of God, as a from the Christian faith. Right. So my outlook, my lens of looking at everything, and the way my life has been shaped out has been as a result of that. So I will be talking from that element aspect, from that aspect this morning as well. So when you say about faith, I will say effectively that I knew what my journey in regards to clarity about faith, I would say started effectively in 1992. So I would say I gave my life to Jesus in 1991, but I was still, I didn't know what it was until about 1992, right? So I have been walking with the Lord as a born-again child of God since that 1992 up until 2010, when I had the incident, that was a life-changing incident for my life and my family.
Okay.
So effectively for 18 years, I have been a Christian, a practicing one, knowing what that redemption means and all that, and walking in that direction for 18 years before I came face to face with the life-changing event that I had, or incident that I had with myself and my daughter. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
I have had some sharing and conversation with you behind the screen or the set, and
Yes.
I'm looking at faith. I'm looking at a health challenge. I'm looking at, the environment that we call Nigeria, and a number of things that are not available in terms of caring for the persons with disability. Can you come from that background of the story of your daughter Abigail and just share on these 3 areas for us. You know, when you look at pain and hardship and how it sometimes shakes people's beliefs, and how you and your family have had to hold to faith when everything else seemed to have fallen apart. Like in 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you very much for that question. It is, I found that the faith element of one's life, from my journey, really, you are not able to devoid every other thing from it, as it were, in terms of this is a box for faith, this is a box for health, this is a box for the incident, or this is a box for whatever life has thrown at you. I see that it has to be all together in one, because, you know, living the kind of faith life that I have is a way of life, is a day-to-day thing. So, but I found as well that even though I've worked with, you know, in that part for 18 years, before I had the issue with my daughter, where she was medically mismanaged at 18 months in here in Nigeria, and then as a result of that, that led to her being brain damaged, right? And of course, that began a journey into something that, you know, a terrain that was totally different, because we then needed to look for another kind of provision where she will be well taken care of, you know, that was not available to us here in Nigeria, where the issue was, where the damage was caused. Now, I found that my 18 years of work as a Christian did not prepare me well enough for the terrain of disability.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that lightly. The only thing that was good was the fact that I realized that my foundation was strong enough, but every other thing that I've built on that foundation for 18 years was really, really tested and shaken, right? And I would almost say that almost everything was stripped off that roof. Almost everything was stripped off that context, in terms of having faith along with the journey of disability.
Yeah.
But I thank God, like I said, that the foundation was strong enough. So when every other thing was taken off, the foundation was good enough to be built on.
Absolutely.
If are you with me?
Yes.
To be built on. One woman that I've helped, you know, that in this 15 years that I've walked this path with, you know, my daughter and the incident that happened and everything that we had gone through. One woman that I, you know, admire and I've learned a lot from, her name is Johnny Erickson Tada. One favorite quote that she says often, which I've, you know, been able to identify with, is the fact that God sometimes permits what he hates in order to accomplish what he loves.
Wow.
God permits what he hates in order to accomplish what he loves. And this is I found this season the best way to actually illustrate what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Because Jesus Christ, when he came to die, which is why we're celebrating Easter, right? Now, God did not love the suffering that Jesus went through. God did not love the pain that he went through. Even Jesus Christ initially was, you know, negotiating that in the garden with the Lord, saying, you know, can this pass over me? Yeah. Because of the pain and everything that would come with it. Yeah. But because God was looking at what would come after that, he permitted it. He allowed Jesus to go through that suffering. And that is the hope element that is coming into this story for my personal life. To say that, you know, the hope, especially for us when, you know, we're in a religious society, and that makes it a bit difficult for us for me to actually say some things, because people would always say, oh, you know, that's what we know already anyway, but still, it's not working. But I'm saying that the hope that you attach to your faith is not going to be dependent on whether this child, you know, that has disability, is this child healed or not healed, or is this situation changing or not changing. Those are not the things you will hinge your hope on. Okay. I found that it's better to hinge your hope on the giver of the promise that you're holding on to.
Yes.
Okay.
Auntie Helen, I said to you, take this check. go to the bank, go and collect 2 million naira. I think the first thing you asked me was, Funke, are you really sure you have it? Is that true?
Yeah.
But maybe if Tinubu gives you a check for 2 million naira, I think the first thing you will do is to quickly run to the bank and just because you're sure of the person that gave it to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is the way to begin to look at hardship or suffering and our faith.
Yeah.
I found that changes things. Who has promised you what you're hoping for?
Yes.
I think that begins to change the dynamics that you used to look at it.
Yeah, so but that is hope, right? That is hope, and to a large extent, it's something that is not tangible as such, in physical terms. Now, no matter what you say to us, there is some level of endurance, physical, mental, even spiritual endurance that you'll be able to take as a human being. Now, is there a difference between passive endurance and finding strength through faith? How can people tell the difference?
That's, I will still go back to what I say. Who has promised you? What are you when you say you have faith? Faith in what?
Yes.
Faith in what? Or who has given you, what is the basis of your faith? Now, the physical challenges and the complexities that came for me personally.
Ooh,
Yes,
the internet.
It seems to have frozen for a moment.
Yes.
But we are still on to Funke Adeloye,
Yes.
all the way from Ogbomoso. And she's been relating to us her episode, 18 years episode, taking care of her daughter who had some physical challenges. We'll see if the network gets better, and we'll continue with our questions on Today with John and Helen on Plus TV Africa. But for now, let's see what we can do with the network. We'll take a break now.
All right, madam, would like to say thank you for still being there. At some point, we'll get you seated in the studio here, and so we can look at this matter as we should. Right now, time is just not our friend. But quickly, let's look at, you talked about hope, and you talked about faith, and you talked about difficult seasons of life, and how you're able to hold on because you know who it is that has promised. And you know that the difficult situation is not only for its own reason, that there's something else that you're looking at. So please quickly share with us, what has the experience caring for your daughter for 18 years? At some point you said for the number of years she lived, she was not even able to say mother or mama or hello to anybody. She was brain dead for that season. So what has come out of that experience right now?
Well, I think one of the strengths of the journey has been the resilience that we, as a family, together, myself and my family, continue to find, and especially even through this particular girl, who we've described as everything that you said and more. That even through her, because you still continue to see her smiling, you still continue to see this girl beautiful, you still continue to see her living life, even where she was in her own way, without saying anything to anybody, but still exuding life, from her. And you cannot but just say, okay, there's something else about this particular thing that is going on. And then you begin to, pick up your own as well and think, okay, what else can I do? I was going to the north, I found myself in the south. What is in the south? And again, from the strength of what I know in terms of what the Bible says in John 10:10, the devil has come to kill, to steal, to destroy, but I've come to find life, to give life and life abundantly. And that was one of the phrases that I held on to say, okay, Lord, if you have promised that I will have life, I will not take anything less, because you didn't put there a caveat to say, if you have a child with disability, you will not have life. So I held on to that to say, okay, yes, so I'm having life, and is there any other person out there that is really willing to have life along with me? Because with that experience, I came across so many other women from, and parents, not just women, from all walks of life, who are navigating this same terrain and doing it differently. Am I still with you?
Yes, we
Oh,
are.
yes,
Can you
yes,
hear me?
yes, yes, we can hear you.
Right. You know, who are navigating it, right. So who are navigating the terrain differently, you know, without hope, with helpless and dejected and finding it difficult to move on with life. So with my own faith, introducing the God factor into the caring role was where we started from, to say you can actually have life, we can navigate this differently if you have the God factor alongside with you on your journey. And out of that has come what we call O Consult Disabilities Outreach, which is an organization that is doing the same, all this, what I've said to other parents, saying, come along, let's do this together. Let's have God alongside us. Let's see how we can change this. Let's see how we can see the positives in the lives of our children. Okay. Let's see how we can build a community and move on together. So from there, we started working with other homes here in Nigeria and other parents and other schools that are actually reaching out to parents, carers, that are actually reaching out to parents and taking care of children as well with one form of disabilities or the other. And from there now, we've moved on to wanting to have our groundbreaking events on the 22nd of April of building what we call Hope Center Prime, which will be a center, a facility that will be able to nurture children with dignity, with care, with love, with hope, with all these different elements that we have, we've gathered and we have seen in the life of our daughter and in the life that we have come along with as well in this past 15 years, to say there is a way to do this differently. We hope and pray that, everything goes well. You don't need to go through this path, but if you are there in this path, can we pick something good from this? What are the potentials in the life of this child? Because even though Abigail did not have speech, could not do anything by herself, could not even eat through her mouth, could not breathe without oxygen support, she still gave so much in herself. She still gave so much to us, even by just living. We were still able to get the potentials that she had from her, and we were still able to learn so much from her, not us alone, but even within the community where she lived.
Yes.
Everyone that met her had something positive to say about this girl. And, with that, she left us without any excuse to think that every child that has disability does not have, they should be hopeless, or they should be worthless, we should throw them away, or we should not take care of them, or we should just be looking for deliverance or healing for them. No, there's so much more to every child. Understanding that every child and young person that has a form of disability or the other has been created in the image of God. And as a result of that, there is always a purpose behind every child that God has for every child and every young person, or everyone, whether old or young, that has a form of disability.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed, and that's correct. You've even demonstrated to us in many ways than one that there always is some light at the end of every dark tunnel, and we really must appreciate the work you have done, the institution that you've put in place as a legacy for our darling Abigail, and all we can do now is to pray that her soul, her dear soul, continues to rest in peace.
Okay, and finally from me, the project in Ogbomoso, what is it for? And what are the key areas of care that it is going to be able to provide in 1 minute when it does come on board? She's gone. Okay, we lost her. All right, so indeed that was Faith.
Yes.
Conversation with our first guest there today. Well, the show will continue in just a moment. When we return from this break, it will be time to meet our second guest. We could take a break with a lady from the gym, while we meditate on what we have spoken with the conversation we had with our first guest. Let's take a break. We'll be back.